While the recent Treehouse of Horror delivered some awesome segments, it's safe to say I didn't particularly enjoy episodes 3 and 4, so I was really hoping that this week's episode would be an improvement, and I'm so glad to say it was. In season 35's Iron Marge, the kids are back to being kids, Homer finds an unlikely comedic enemy, and Flanders, well, he's just being Flanders.
You know the old saying, the lawn is the mustache of the house.
But before I get into that, I just want to say a big thank you to FlexiSpot for sponsoring this video. Working on 2 YouTube channels means that I am sitting down pretty much for most of the day, and my back was seriously killing me. But thankfully, FlexiSpot gave me their ergonomic chair BS12 Pro, and it's been a real lifesaver. I've been using this chair for around 3 weeks now, and it's without a doubt the most comfortable chair that I have ever sat on. The fabric is really soft and breathable, and the adjustable lumbar support has seriously helped my back issues. There's also 3 buttons on the side for height adjustment, seat depth adjustment, and a back tilt angle lock. And the seat goes really far back, as my husband is demonstrating right now. The armrests are also adjustable for height, and you can turn the angle to make it more comfortable. And the headrest is also adjustable, and it's really soft. And when I'm not using my chair, I'm standing up using my FlexiSpot standing desk. You see, I like to stand up in the mornings to give myself a good stretch, but then sit down later in the evenings when I'm feeling a bit more tired. And there's also some great news, because FlexiSpot are having some amazing Black Friday deals. Like if you pre-order the E7 Pro standing desk, then you get around £170 off. But this offer ends on the 23rd of November, so you've got to be really quick. Oh yeah, and be sure to use the code FSKOL for a 10% discount and shipping priority. Again, thank you so much FlexiSpot for changing the way I work. The episode opens with a car crashing outside of 742 Evergreen Terrace, and it was the perfect way to disrupt the equilibrium and therefore splitting the A plot from the B plot. For Marge, it caused her to be scrutinised by Springfield's judges' mums about wearing a haggard, shabby old bathrobe in the street.
What's that mark on your sleeve? I used it as an oven mitt.
And side note, I always love to hate this group. They just feel so real and like those competitive mums my own mum was friends with back in the day. This is compared to Marge, who only seems to get macaroni artwork, or as Nelson's mum likes to put it,
Sounds like they're just giving you their art class crap.
So hearing this, it makes Lisa and Bart reconsider their gifts for Marge's upcoming birthday. So now for the B-plot, and the car crash causes Homer to save Kirk from a live wire.
Oh, you the man!
This gives him the adrenaline and satisfaction rush for helping others, which isn't so dissimilar to what we saw in this season's premiere. And like the episode, he takes this urge to replicate this feeling to another level, this time pursuing to be at the very top of a leaderboard of an app called Alarmist. This is an app that warns people of dangers, but to be honest, mostly unnecessary or imagined dangers. I believe this is a reference to the real-life app called Simpsons, which some have accused as being an enabler of mob justice. But anyway, circling back, and I want to take this time to focus on the A-plot. So, rethinking their macaroni artwork, Bart and Lisa hatch a plan to make some money to buy their mum a robe. Their plan? Do some gardening for Flanders, but in his words.
Sorry, I always keep my grass trimmed.
But feeling so bad for them, he makes up a job just to give them some money.
Both leaves? Ow! Deal.
Now, one note I had here was how well Flanders is written in this episode. You really feel that he wants to help in any way he can, which is something that Homer, and now Bart and Lisa, take advantage of. And also later on, he really nicely acts as Marge's confidant, while peppering in his typical innocence and whimsy.
What a party yesterday. I don't usually take my water on the rocks.
But more on that a bit later. So with their $40 or so, Bart and Lisa head to the store to buy the robe. That's if they weren't so distracted by a super cool spy kit. But you know what, instead of hating the kids here, you just kind of understand that they are kids. And when they find out that it comes with a free ironing board cover, you can see the way that a child who really wants something attempts to mask it by having a quote-unquote thoughtful sentiment.
We could buy the spy kit and give Mom the ironing board cover.
That's like giving her a whole new ironing board.
It's so quintessentially flawed and childish, and I love that it was translated into Lisa's character too. Because I see Lisa as normally the mouthpiece for reason way beyond her years, and luckily in this episode she's given way more freedom to actually have fun and be a kid, like how she stuffed that bathrobe in the drinks fridge instead of putting it back on the rail, or as the co-showrunner Carolyn Omine put it, I like that Lisa puts the robe back in the drink cooler. She's not always perfect. Sometimes, like all of us, she cuts corners. But hey, at least Marge would probably prefer an ironing board cover to, say, a bowling ball.
Don't worry, this frosting will come right off.
Later on at Marge's birthday party, with balloons crumbly sellotaped to the wall and a scrap bit of paper for a birthday card, the family present their gifts. And Marge smiles through the less than thoughtful presents, as probably a lot of mothers do. With Homer's charm for her charm bracelet, Lisa's ironing board cover, and Bart's ironing board cover.
What do you get for the woman who has only one ironing board cover?
It's only while gardening that Marge reveals to Ned that she feels like an afterthought in her own family, and even worse, that they don't even see her as a real person. Like a lot of mothers, she wanted to hide her disappointment from her kids, and it made me think of my own mum. Like, one year me and my siblings decided to get her a thrilling race car experience for her birthday, and we were so excited to give it to her, but when she opened the envelope, she was disappointed. And thinking back, maybe nearly a 60-year-old mum wouldn't really want to drive around a racetrack at over 100 miles per hour, but I didn't know that. But hey, I hear that the afternoon tea that she exchanged it for was very, very nice, so I guess at least there's that. But anyway, let's talk about The Simpsons. As Marge cried, her children watched from the treehouse, and it's here where I almost expected Marge to take focus for the story. But luckily, we stick with Bart and Lisa here. It's really rare that we get to see these two work together on the same level, and it was really enjoyable to watch. They seem to have real camaraderie here in thinking of a brand new plan, this time to dig deeper into Marge's memories to come up with a far more thoughtful gift. The way in which they work together in this episode was just so fun to watch because they're intelligent in their own ways, and it's clearly displayed here, with Lisa's book smart and emotional intelligence, and Bart with his street smarts and gumption.
Don't leave town.
But my niece's wedding is tomorrow.
I said don't leave town.
Fine.
It provided some great dialogue between the two of them, and it kind of stripped Lisa back, who at times feels like just another parent to Bart. But here, both were allowed to make mistakes and contribute to the adventure in their own ways, and that was very, very rare. This adventure led them to reuniting Marge with her long-lost pet parrot called Petey, but lo and behold, Petey's an asshole. This twist really shook things up. I mean, before that moment, I was expecting Marge to love the parrot, love her kids, but then realised that Petey was happier living in the world with his parrot friends and set him free in the wild. Almost as if the best gift is making others happy or something. But no, the parrot was a pest, but at least she recognised her kid's effort and the bigger picture in trying. This is the well-balanced subversiveness and sincerity that made the classic show work before. It didn't feel overwhelmingly sentimental, as it had that humour, which is something that Mike Scully is so skillful in as a writer. But before I chat about Mike Scully as a writer, let's finish up on the A-plot with that sweet, sweet post-credit scene. This is when the kids coordinate another, but fake car crash just so Marge could show off her brand new robe that the kids finally bought her. And man, look at those sleeves. So cute. For me personally, it really tied the beginning of the episode to the end of the episode. And I also love how the spy kit was used as a great story device 3 times. Firstly, with it being the plot's conflict by the kids buying it, then by it revealing Marge's true feelings, and then thirdly as a full circle tool for Marge to show off her brand new robe to the neighbours. But before moving on to my main thoughts and rating, let's first chat about the B-plot. Overall, it was a really fun romp with Homer acting independently and jibing with the other residents of Springfield. He's creating fear everywhere he goes, but at least he's having fun doing it.
I did it! I'm number 5!
I'm better than everyone.
That is until a secret rival for the top spot threatens him, the Silver Bullet, which turns out to be Agnes Skinner. This was a really interesting duo for The Simpsons to focus on. Homer really wants to help people but is motivated by being at the top of the scaremongering charts, whereas Agnes was doing it purely for her own bitter, competitive and vindictive pleasure. But they worked together to escape from the sinkhole that they were reporting on, which created some surprising and hilarious lines.
Maybe Satan heard your voice and decided to fast-track you to hell.
Okay, we both got one in.
Right up until Agnes escapes, and in true character, she does this by literally stepping over or on anyone just to get ahead.
Hairless ground hippo stuck in sinkhole, and while we...
She's horrible.
I feel that these stories came together really well, with the main plot obviously taking centre stage and the B plot playing nicely as that comedic relief. But both still done in a down-to-earth and grounded way, and this is a skill that we have seen Scully execute many times before. It's hard to describe, but you can really tell that this was his episode. It felt grounded and warm, almost like a classic era episode with modern animation. It gave me similar vibes to another one of his episodes, Marge Be Not Proud, which also happens to be one of my absolute favourites. Like it had Bart's selfishness in the store, first with Bone Storm but now with the spy kit, but instead of just being Bart as the bad boy, Lisa was included too, making Marge's feelings feel even more isolating because there doesn't seem to be someone who understands how she feels, when ordinarily, Lisa is the other voice of reason and empathy. This is why it hits so hard, but so differently. This isolation provoked Marge into concealing her feelings, whereas in Marge Be Not Proud, she was far more aggressive with her reaction. They had similar themes, but it was very clever with how the small changes made such a difference in terms of not feeling like the same old story. I think generally it had a really great message in that you don't really know your mother before she was a mother, and the way in which Bart and Lisa were really trying to tap into that but failing was sweet while not being overly sentimental.
Her name is Marjorie, not Margaret.
We officially know nothing about her.
This brings me to some small gripes with this episode, but they are very minor. But even so, it's worth bringing up seeing as this is a review. So, talking about Bart and Lisa venturing more into Marge's past, I don't really think that they presented this as Marge-specific memories. It would have been really cool to reference things specific to what we've seen in her past already. Like it could have been an old sketchbook where she drew something she loved as a child, which could have played into her creativity that we have seen before. I don't know, just make it a bit more Marge-centric. We have seen a lot of glimmers into her past before, so why not translate that into her memory box? But, you know, maybe that was part of the idea. Maybe it was to unveil the secret that we had literally no idea about to put us into the kid's shoes. But you know what, despite this, I did like Marge's reason as to why her parents would get her a bird.
I wanted a kitten. Since Petey can meow, my dad decided he was close enough.
It unveiled a bit more of what we know about Mr. Bouvier, who is perhaps the Simpsons' most elusive character.
Don't look at me! Don't look at me!
I did see one critique online where they said that they'd have liked Homer's story to link back into Marge's by the end of the episode, but in all honesty, I think the post-credit scene worked perfectly. It showed that Marge was now fully part of Bart and Lisa's fun now, and in fact, I couldn't really think of how else they could have made it more enjoyable than it already was. And for that very reason, I'm giving it 5 ironing board covers out of 5. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Also, are there any characters you'd like to see more focus on? Also, I never asked this, but if you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. It honestly does mean a lot. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll smell you later.